Hi, everyone. Laurie Itkin here, also known as the Options Lady. I'm a certified divorce financial analyst practicing throughout California. And I'm so happy to introduce you today to Barney Connaughton, who is a mediator I've known for many years in San Diego County. His website is ahealthydivorce.com. That's ahealthydivorce.com. And he certainly delivers that, in my opinion. Untangling Together. And Barney, tell me, I think your daughter did some of the illustrations. Tell me a little bit about the illustrations.
Yes, so I brought my daughter in, who is an aspiring artist, and I wanted the whole intention behind the book is to make it palatable and kind of easy to understand and reassuring, and my daughter did some beautiful artwork to kind of tone it down a notch and kind of make it a little more comforting for the reader.
Now, there's been so many books written about divorce, particularly in California. What did you want to express to folks that really wasn't already out there?
Most couples at the very beginning are fearful. They've heard the horror stories. They're afraid of it, and it's intimidating, and it's really a kind of a difficult thing to tackle because you're afraid of it. And so I wanted to put something out there that resolved that fear and kind of simplified it. And so really what I've done is I've broken it down into really simple steps, which are: one, we've got to tackle the emotions, and we got to kind of get that out of the way so we're not tripping over those as we move forward. And then we need to educate the couple. So both spouses really need to understand what their rights are and what their responsibilities are. And so finding kind of an easy way to explain that to couples is a big part of my job as a mediator.
Absolutely.
Then we've got to take care of disclosure. So everybody's got to get all the information so that they know what their assets are and what their debts are and what their incomes are. So we know how to fairly divide things, and we know how to fairly address the issue of support. And then we just need to explore options, and we can, explore what a judge might do. We can explore, other creative options that might make more sense than following, by the book, what the law might have to say. And then we just have to formalize all that once we've come up with the terms of what the resolution is going to be. So this book kind of takes those simple steps and spells them out, walks them through the emotions, and getting to the right emotional mindset to address these things that we've got to address, or get some help so that we can get to that place. And then it spends some time talking about the law. And again, I try to do that in a simplified way. And I have a fair amount of experience doing that, because that's a big part of my job. Is each couple I work with, I need to educate them. They need to understand generally what the law has to say about basic stuff, but then sometimes really complicated things also. So over time, I've figured out kind of more easy to understand ways of addressing sometimes complicated issues. So all of that stuff's in there, settlement discussion and the different ways that couples can proceed. And it's not just for mediating couples, it's for everybody. I mean, I think it's empowering to be educated. And I think a big challenge I have, or a question I have about litigating is, somebody will hire an attorney and say, okay, you do it for me. And I think it's really important for each client to understand, what's happening, so that they can play a part in it, and they can be an active participant. And sometimes they can steer it out of the process of having to go to trial and having to go in front of a judge, if they understand they have their own understanding in addition to the attorney's understanding of the issues that have to be sorted out.
I mean, in summary, what you're saying is that your book, Untangling Together, is providing three really important principles. You're helping people understand the emotions and the fear and how to deal with that. You're educating them on the law. You're educating them about the importance of financial disclosures, of being transparent with what everyone owes, their income, their expenses. And then you're helping them understand how to consider various settlement options that are fair, equitable, and will work for both parties. So let's talk a little bit about your practice specifically. I've noticed that you have over 80 Google reviews, and that's quite an accomplishment. So what are you doing, Barney, that delivers to people things that not only meet their expectations, but frankly exceeds their expectations?
It's just because once you find mediation, you go, this should be the rule, not the exception to the rule. Really, you need, why would anybody choose firsthand to hire attorneys and use the courts to litigate? I mean, a lot of people will hire attorneys and their focus is trying to come up with a solution. And it's just with mediation, you have a much easier time of doing that. And that I get the couple together, I get to educate both of them. I get to give them both the information so that they're not getting contrary information. Um, and then I get to make sure that they have everything that they need. And then I get to, make sure we get to explore lots of options. And I think one of my strengths as a mediator is I like the creative part of it. So I like to be able to, hear what they're looking for and then maybe fashion something that is a little bit different than what the court might do, but makes perfect sense for the family. And I'll certainly let them know, well, this is what a judge would do. So if that's what you want, if you want to just kind of go by what the book has to say, then we can do that. But maybe consider this. This is a way to keep that low interest mortgage in place, or this is the way to do this or do that. So I like the creativity, and I think the clients appreciate that creativity. I truly care about this work, which I think is another, hopefully that's another thing that shines through with the clients that I meet with is I care about the family. I understand I'm not going to fix the marriage, but I absolutely want to make sure that both spouses get to have a relationship with their children, that they have the best possibility of working as co-parents to work together to meet the needs of their children. So there's lots of different benefits that I truly care about, and I think that shines through in my work with my clients. And then a big one is I'm very reasonably priced, and part of that is I'm extremely efficient. I've simplified this process so that we go step by step through that, and it's usually a couple few sessions with each family that I work with, and we're done.
Barney, I agree that you are affordably priced. I mean, there's so many mediators out of there, all with different prices, some charged by the hour, some are flat fee. And I know because I'm working with clients either as a neutral when they're in mediation, a neutral financial analyst, or as an advocate to one spouse. And, there's a certain number of hours to draw up a marital settlement agreement, and there's certain pre-work that needs to be done. And really where the money is spent is in those mediation sessions. And if you can find a way to deliver what you said, let's address the emotions, let's try to mitigate the fear, let's get the financial transparency, and let's get some creative options. If you can do that in a few mediation sessions where the same couple might be with a different mediator and going back 6, 7, 8 times because they're going in loops, that shows you're the master of your craft. And that's not surprising that you have such excellent Google reviews out there.
Okay.
So there you have it, Barney Connaughton, ahealthydivorce.com. Barney, how should people best reach you?
Yeah, they can go to my website at healthydivorce.com, and on there's a link to schedule a free consultation. My email address is barney@ahealthydivorce.com. And if you send me an email, I'll give you whatever information is needed to direct you.
Wonderful, Barney. Thanks for talking with me today. This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me on, Laurie. I appreciate it.